Welcome to Jetcon, the first edition, hopefully of many more. I want to welcome our very distinguished panelists from the industry. From right to left, Akiva Neger, Joey Levy, and Feivish Mishalowitz. Feel free to have applause. My name is Michael Fragan. And yes, just to state the obvious, I am related to one of the Jetcon founders. I'll let you guess which one. So the title of today's panel, and I'm not one of those guys who is going to talk because the point here is to hear from the people in the travel industry. I'm a consumer, not a provider. So I want to think of myself from that perspective. We have three really accomplished people in the industry who all fill a different niche within the industry. And they're going to talk about that this afternoon, hopefully make it really interesting. I don't know if we're going to have time for questions from the audience, but if we cover all the topics, we'll try and take some if we can. But I want to start with each of our panelists to introduce themselves and their business. And if we can keep it to just a couple sentences, what do you feel your niche within the travel industry is? Since Feivish, you have the unfortunate distinction of being sitting closest to me, you can start first.
Okay, hi, first of all, my name is Feivish Mishalowitz from B&M Travel, also known as Benish Travel. My partner, Yankee Benish, is the one who founded this company, and he couldn't make it today, he couldn't come, so I'm going to represent him as well here. We specialize in providing services for industry professionals, for travel agents, and people booking hotels as a full-time business, full-time wholesale. We try very much not to be busy with anyone who's not an expert in the industry, so we can focus on providing service to people who are. We have set up systems, many systems, more than one, because in this industry you need many of them for hotels, for air, to provide the proper tools in addition to the contracts and the commissions. And like I said, that's in addition to the actual hands-on service, which we try to provide on a daily basis. Our founder, Aaron, is one of the people who is affiliated with us, so I do have some ties here. I'm just putting it out here, but other than that...
I'll get you extra points.
Okay, good. So I'll use it next year, I guess. But
You'll be invited again next year.
That's it. So that's about it.
Okay, so you think of yourself more as a wholesaler in a way. You're not the client-facing guy.
Correct. When people reach out to us to buy tickets or to get certain services from us, we would try to refer them to one of our clients who is a travel agent or a hotels agent, and they would provide them the full service, so we can be busy providing our clients, which is the agents, the full service we provide as wholesalers.
Wonderful. Joey?
My name is Joey Levy. I'm with Embark. We're based in New York, and we are more of a full-service, client-facing travel agency. So personally, I'm an agent. I've been with Embark since its inception in 2019. And what we do is we sell the world. We know our client, but we sell the world. So we don't really have any focus on one particular part of the world. Our focus is on our client. So we sell all the services with everything from air to touring and hotels and experiences, and putting together a full itinerary with concierge services as well. So we work with the client, we develop a relationship with the client, and we have clients that have been working with us for years and years. And the more we get to work with the client, the more we get to know them, so that we can anticipate the things that they need, that they're going to want when they're traveling. So the key is just to work with the client over a longer period of time, so we get to know them better and anticipate their needs when they're traveling.
Thank you. Akiva?
Hi, my name's Akiva Neger. I work and own Silverwing Travel. I think we're more, sort of like what Joey mentioned, more client-facing. To push it up. More client-facing. We have a lot of very needy people that need to get from point A to point B, and there could be many machines along the way to get them. So I feel like maybe that's our niche, just very needy travelers who need to make sure things happen reliably.
Okay, so starting the other way, so back to you, Akiva. Let's talk about maintaining a competitive edge in the industry. You guys have all been in the industry. You've watched it change. You've had your ups and downs. You've had things that have happened, like COVID, like war in Israel. There are things that are going on that can impact your business quite significantly. At the same time, there's a lot of people in this room potentially who might be competitors, or there are also people who can get into this business who are not in this room very easily. How do you maintain the edge of your business in this type of industry?
So I don't feel that, we're competing with other travel agents. I feel like there's a lot of great travel agents in the world, and we're more of a relationship-based service business. So whatever the world is going to throw at us, they threw at our client too. So whatever he needs in the travel arena, we need to be ready, and we need to be able to work through it and make sure it happens. But I don't feel that, we have to hold our edge, competing with other agents. I feel like, with experience and with the right relationships and being able to provide the service that your client is relying on, that's how you, keep your edge. That's how you keep going, and everything else will fall into place.
Joey?
So I think the most important thing in this industry, like you said, we might be doing the same thing, but I wouldn't consider you a competitor. But I think the most important thing is networking. Knowing people that you could call in a pinch when you need a favor. Events like this is really what gives you the edge, because you can walk around and meet people, you exchange business cards. You never know when you're going to actually need that person. It might be next week, it may be in 3 or 4 years from now, but if you continue to be present, to be at networking events, to be at trade shows, you can always rely on the people you meet, and it's not necessarily at the booth. Maybe it's at the bar, maybe it's just online waiting for food, but you never miss an opportunity to meet somebody, because you never know when that relationship will be a benefit to them and to you and to your clients especially.
So we basically are in a place where there's not much competition in providing full-time, focus fully on wholesale, but we very much try to provide a certain service and a certain touch to our service, which I don't think we're trying very, very much to make it in a way that people shouldn't want to leave. In addition to that, we do have very open communication. Just want to bring it out because we're on this topic, but we talk to our competitions every day and sometimes a few times a day. There's mainly 2 other competitions, and we have a very good relationship in place with them because it's everyone's benefit also to keep the market stable. We don't want to try to take away people from other places. We want to have it in a way that everyone has his account set up, everyone is loyal to his accounts, they're loyal to them, and try to keep it that way. Like this, the market is going to stay stable, and everyone's going to benefit of that.
Joey, can you talk about something in the 11 years you've been in the business that you wish you had done differently? That, when you started out and said, wow, I kind of blew that, I missed this opportunity, I didn't do this. Maybe pick one thing that you think that was, you missed out on this trend.
Well, I've been in the industry for quite a while. There's always been ups and downs. The opportunities present itself, and being able to listen to clients. At the beginning, you kind of want to prove to everybody that you know what you know, and you could prove to your clients, oh, I know the best restaurant here, I know the best hotel there. But what I learned over the years was to listen. And if you listen to if you ask probing questions to your client and you listen to what their answers are, you'll figure out really quickly what they want and how to provide it for them.
Let me change the question for Akiva, because I think it's the way you phrase it is actually better. And if you want to have another crack at it, is the idea here, or the ideal that you guys are after, is it that the customer is telling you where you want to go and it's your job to get them there? Or is most of the business now you guys suggesting that this is the right place for you?
That's very interesting because there's a mix of both, to be honest, because at the end of the day, the client really knows the experience that they want to have, right? They want a beach vacation. They want to visit a city. They want art. They want, they know what they want. And a lot of times they'll tell you what they want. And a lot of times they'll be right when they say, I want to go here. But a lot of times when you listen, you say, okay, maybe you want to go here, but I think you would really love this. Maybe not Paris, maybe you love Milan instead. And you explain to them why you're thinking that. So the knowledge of the destinations, the knowledge of your product is very important to be able to hear what they want and be able to make suggestions. And then within the destination, it's also important to know the opportunities there. There's different types of hotels that you want to stay at. There's different types of experiences. There's different types of restaurants. So even if they know where they want to go, they might not, you want to suggest the proper accommodations for them and experiences for them along the way. So it's really a matter of listening and knowing, and every conversation is always different.
Akiva, same question.
I mean, when a client gets on a call and he says he wants to go on a vacation, he wants to do something, so sometimes you'll have word of mouth. My friend went here. That's easy. That's 1, 2, 3. You did a trip for my friend last week. I heard the food was good. I heard the beach was great. You got him an upgrade. We want the same thing. So, and over there, you're just creating the value where, they come, it's pretty much a free service. You're using your relationships to make sure that they're taken care of and they're getting the best value for their stay, and that's that. But then when you get a more challenging customer who doesn't know where he wants to go, so you gotta, that's what a good travel agent does. He's gotta break it down. What do you like? Do you like activities? Do you like culture? Do you like vineyards? Do you like beaches? Do you like to do nothing? Do you like to wake up early in the morning? Or do you like to wake up late in the morning? Do you like to do long nights? Everybody's different. People are active. So it's about breaking down what they like to do and then telling them where they can do that. And then even when they decide, okay, let's go to that city, it's about using your relationships in that place to create the experience on a very, very high level that they may not even have known exists in that city. But, if you know the right people in that city, you could pretty much make anything happen. So it's a process.
Well, guys should also talk about the value added, right? What kind of upgrades are you guys providing because they're using you, right? I mean,
Go ahead.
Okay,
100%,
so
yeah.
basically, like you're talking about upgrades, and in our side of the industry, a lot of things are standardized. It's very standard. We have the same. We have here and there something special, but it's more or less about the same in our side, which is on the wholesale side, when you go to one vendor or to another. But we do provide information to our agents whenever we can. We try to be on top of our game and providing this information when something becomes available on the market. So they should be the first agents to know it, and then they can offer these for their clients. It could sometimes also be not only room upgrades, it could be more internal in the industry. It could be a bonus commission and so on, which can benefit the agent, or it could be something which can benefit the client. But as us being on top of the game, to share this information, to make sure they're on top of the game, it boils down to the actual client getting the best he could by us providing it to our agents and by our agents providing it to the client.
isn't it embarrassing to travel without getting an upgrade of some sort?
I wouldn't know.
But I guess just to follow up is, right, so people know what they want. They want to get from point A to point B. They want to go there. But they're relying on you for the idea. They're relying on you for the mode of travel. They're also relying on you for the little bit extra, particularly since we're talking about the kosher market here, right? The kosher traveler has specific needs. So you're going to be providing some of those, or at least arranging for those extras, or at least you know who can provide those extras. So let's just talk for a second about that, right? That the whole world is not conducive to kosher travel. Maybe it is. Maybe it's getting more conducive to kosher travel. But, right, I would imagine that there are places that are better for kosher travel. And you guys are in the business of making that kosher travel experience specifically more relevant.
100%. You can knock out 150 destinations right away when the guy says he wants to eat kosher. Right? If he says he wants a restaurant, there's only 10 countries you can go to, so you're good.
Well,
Wait, are you saying there's not a Chabad place?
that's what I was going to say.
I-
The Chabad relationships are really, I mean, what they do for the kosher traveler is really incredible. I mean, to be honest, they put themselves in a remote place just to make sure that Jews have what they need when they're traveling, where they're traveling. I don't know if I would be able to do that, but I'm very appreciative of that. But the ability to travel, I think, could be anywhere in the world because of that network. The Jewish network is really global. Will you have a beautiful Italian meal? No, you might have a schnitzel, but still, the Rebbitzin made a very good schnitzel, or you might have a nice cholent. So it actually gives a certain sense of comfort when you're able to travel to the corners of the world and have something familiar. And that's something we could definitely promote.
I actually think there's two types of people who want to, depends how much you want to invest in your trip. Like Akiva said, you can knock out a lot of these places. It's true for a lot of people who don't want to schlep along food from here or just get the cheaper type or the cheapest side of the meals. These are basically one type of clients. And then you have the people who are here to explore whatever it takes. With them, there's a lot more to work with, especially with the Chabad options or even with taking options from here or from any other place where there's a lot of kosher available, or even taking a chef, which can bring all the food with them and so on. Meaning it ends up being the client who decides how much he wants to invest in his destination. Especially if he's going to somewhere exclusive, he wants to be able to show off even sometimes that he went to a specific place, which is tough, but he made it there and he managed. So it would end up being the client who would work more and enjoy less as a vacation of someone serving him everything on a ready plate, but then he would have a lot more options where to go as well.
So, Akiva, I think what you were referring to was the investment of the industry in the kosher traveler. Like we see here, presence hotels and others of destinations that probably 10 years ago wouldn't even have thought of catering to the kosher traveler, certainly not having a kosher restaurant on premises. Do you see that as a trend that's going to...
There's no question that from before COVID, every time you brought up the word kosher to a hotel, no matter how large the booking was, it was like a curse word. It was like, okay, this is going to be a pain. Let's we can't do this. We can't, have the Four Seasons standard with this group in-house if they have these type of dietary restrictions. And when COVID hit, I feel like, obviously our community was a little less locked down than most, and the hotels were getting significant business from the Jewish industry that they weren't getting anywhere else. And I feel like that really that really brought it to the forefront, the kosher business. And since then, I've had a lot of hotel suppliers ask us, how do we be more accommodating for the kosher? What else can we learn? What else can we do to make it cheaper or more efficient or to have fresher food? They're embracing that business. And you see that, just from here. I mean, this trade show or convention, whatever, so to speak, there are hotels there that never would have dreamed of being here 5 years ago, but now that the kosher business has really been in the front of the market, and I feel COVID is really what changed that, it's been exceptional. And now you have, first class hotels that you can literally sit on the beach and order in just like anybody else. I went recently to a hotel, was sitting in the restaurant with everybody else in the hotel, and no one realized that my dishes were 100% kosher. On the dishes, no wraps, brand new, crockery and everything. So, and it's because of the dining experience that these hotels are offering, they've really separated themselves from the crowd. I mean, it's the same 5, 6, 7 hotels that really crush it in the Caribbean or in Cabo in Europe that everybody's flocking to, because obviously a dining experience makes the whole vacation a different vacation. So, yeah, I feel like, it's only getting more and more, what's the word? It's only becoming a big, more and more in the industry, the kosher efficiency, whatever you want to call it.
What percentage of your business is the kosher traveler?
In our
Or
business,
the from traveler, you know?
in our business, I would say it's above 80% for sure. We do have agents who serve a lot of different communities, but I think most of them are very much based inside a community.
Personally, my business, I would say, the strictly kosher clients, probably 20 to 25%. I have a little bit more of a diverse.
I guess the people who need
Client.
kosher food, right? So I'm saying
Right.
they're not.
Well, look, one of the questions I always ask is, how kosher are you?
Right.
But yeah, it's, I mean, people, it's a good amount of the business because there's group travel, there's holidays, Passover trips, Sukkot, and yeshiva break. So those are very prevalent, big pieces of my business. But then there's the individual traveler as well. And to Akiva's point, for 5 or 6 years ago, a kosher traveler was happy just to have a meal that they could eat. It became to the point where now they're eating gourmet offerings. So it really has evolved to the point where a kosher traveler doesn't have to expect to be eating less than they deserve to be, because the hotels are learning. It is a business, so the hotels realize it's a financial boom, and they know that the Jewish client, if one person's happy, they come home, tell their whole community. The next month, the entire, the neighborhood's there. So it's a lucrative business, and they're really putting the effort to learn about what it takes to get that kosher traveler. And there's a competition, which is good.
Well, I feel like the Syrians were a big part of that. They were the first ones to come in and say, wrap that fish. And now you can't get a beach club in Mykonos who doesn't have kosher rosé. I would say,
To say nothing of pioneering Aruba, I guess, as a
Yeah, well,
Caribbean
I
destination.
remember back in the days in Acapulco, that was really
Right.
the time
So
when kosher.
so that taking over the hotel, little different experience, but yes.
yeah, I would say about 70%. But everybody's on different levels. Some people will eat fish out and dairy out, and some people are okay if they turn on the fire through their iPhone. Some people want to actually do it personally. Some people don't care at all. So we don't judge.
Right.
I tell them we're travel agents.
That's a
We're not
different.
your
That's a
rabbi.
different panel that we're going to have with regard to those specific. But how do you see these hotels or these destinations kind of reacting to the change in clientele? I mean, is it an issue for them? Are other hotels looking at this and saying we got to emulate it, or they're saying we're content to give that business over? I would imagine that nobody wants to lose business. Everybody wants a lot of extra business.
So Joey touched upon the concept that at the end of the day, we go home, we have a friend, that friend has a friend as well. He goes, his friend goes. We basically end up being a very big base of clients who you only need to reach out to 1 or 2 people to get this space. So a lot of these hotels, or even other places, it can be airlines as well, given that we started to travel to a lot more destinations than we used to because of COVID, or even before COVID, I think it's more that the younger generation open up the world even for the older generation, because they have more access and they're aware about more destinations and more places, and the younger generation started to travel more out of the box. It used to be 1 out of 4, now it's 1 out of 40. So all of these businesses, usually they want the business. I do see a lot of them coming and reaching out to the people who bring these customers, and they want to try to accommodate because they want the business. And then it starts to be some kind of a competition also, that the hotels try to be very accommodating, just because they only need to reach out to a few people in this community, and they basically are getting the whole community coming over to them automatically after that happens.
I think it's a very lucrative piece of business. So there's been pioneers of hotels who have taken the first step to do it, and others see that, and they see the success that these hotels have by being able to accommodate the kosher guest. I think the attendance today is a good indication that it's a good business because people want to be here. It's not, and if you look around the room, it's not just Jews talking to Jews. It's people from hotels, international chains that are represented here and want to learn how to earn the business. And it became, again, like I said before, it's a competitive industry. And the more we elevate the service, more everyone else is going to have to, high tide raises all boats. And once you start getting a competitive market, it's just going to be more beneficial to the guest at the end of the day.
I feel that there's still a long way to go. I mean, there are definitely, like Joey mentioned, pioneers, hotels that have really opened their arms for the kosher guests. But there's still, hotels that have return clients every year that never have shoulder seasons, that are not warm to the kosher idea. There's still hotels that, don't realize how much they could fill up on a shoulder season or on the summer season. In the Caribbean, it's dead. But there's still a lot of kosher business. So there is a lot of value in the kosher market, even for very successful hotels, because there are going to be shoulder seasons and things that help them out. But there's still a way to go. There's still, hotels don't want to turn it into, only have Jewish people in the hotel. They're conscious about making sure that, over the year it's spread in and it's spread out. And there's still time. I still think there's a way to go, but it's been getting a lot better, definitely.
Okay, since we're a panel about business and a conference about business, I want to just talk for a second about making money, right? I mean, that's what you're in business for. And what is the mix and how is the industry changing between commissions and fees and other ways to charge the client, if you will, and which part is growing, which part is, as far as the mix of how you're making money as an agent.
So I think that when it comes to air, there was always movements between the airline trying to see and test the waters if they can lower and still get the business, and then another airline coming in and giving a lot more and pulling everything back up. It was always an up and down game. I feel like when it comes to hotels, it's different. It's more stable. It's more consistent. And it's very, at the end of the day, the hotels, they do see the business and appreciate it in a certain way, the ones who do accommodate the kosher market more than others. Because like Akiva mentioned, they need the business to survive sometimes even. They sometimes want to invest because they want to have their facilities full even during shoulder season and low season even, when for them it's low season. So they have to be accommodating in terms of upgrades, commissions, and bonuses, and so on. And they have to stay consistent because they want their business to stay consistent, unlike the airlines, which everything is inconsistent. Changes happen every day. A few days without a change, that would be considered a change.
So in my business is really two different parts of the business. There's the booking of the hotel, the flight. Those are usually commission-based. And on the luxury end of the industry, the hotels are very travel agent friendly. They really work with us. We have enhanced commission sometimes, but for the hotel side especially, it's very commission-based. But we're a full-service agency, and we put together full itineraries. So when it comes to restaurant reservations, transfers, spa treatments, things that are not revenue-based, that's where fees come in. And one line that I tell my clients is that when I'm introducing a fee to them, I guarantee them that that's going to be the best money you spent the entire trip. Because we're putting the trip together for you so that you could enjoy your trip and not have to worry. So you're spending so much money on a trip, it's in your best benefit to pay the fee to get everything to put together. And at the end of the day, the client comes back and said, that was the best money I spent paying you your fee so that you could put everything together, because your knowledge, your professionalism, your organization made the trip even more special.
I feel like when I entered this business 10 years ago, no one used a travel agent. They only used them because they're cheaper. If you weren't cheaper, okay, only go online and book it. Nowadays, I feel like there's been a lot of value add that travel agents, especially the Jewish travel agents, have brought to the market, you know, with destinations, with concierge service, like Joey mentioned, with the hotels. People are starting to value time, and Jews are starting to pay for time, where it was never like that. They always had plenty of time. Don't charge me for your time, you're not a lawyer. But now, people realize how long it takes, how experience really matters, who you book things through on the ground, who you execute the trip with. Sometimes people call me, they know exactly what they want to do for the whole week. They know exactly what they want to do every single day. And they just say, take care of it, because we know that we're going to call a travel agent to take care of it, because they're going to use the right drivers, the right tour guides. They're going to tell us, they're going to use drivers that understand the roads and don't end up in traffic jams and know the ways in and the ways out. They understand the culture, all these types of things that people are starting to realize, the experience factor from a travel agent will have from either past mistakes or past successes, right? And number two is the time factor. They understand this takes a lot of time. And I think it's important when you have a customer that you're spending time on, that you don't just build in and, you know, mark this up, mark that up. It's important that they understand that they're paying you a certain amount of money for your time and for your service and for your, it's important that they have an appreciation for that. And it's not just a cheaper way or easier way to do it. It's important that they value your time and they're paying you for their time and they know they're paying you for your time. So I feel like that's where the business is moving now, and I think it's going to continue to move in that trend.
All right. Getting towards the end, so I want to throw some softball questions. And first is, do you love what you do? Do you love the industry? And where do you see the industry in 3 years from now?
If I wouldn't be loving what I was doing, then I don't think I would be here. So I definitely do very much. I'm very much connected to this industry for many years. I do see the industry moving even more to a place where, which Akiva already mentioned, that it switches to be something. I tell my agents sometimes, you should mark up more than the published available fare, not only because you're going to make more, but this is some kind of a filter also. Anyone who doesn't want to pay would usually also not be the easy clients to work with. If you charge a bit more, you get the quality clients, and then you also make more. I do see it moving in a direction where people in this industry make more money per sale, regardless if it's a ticket or a hotel or something else, another service. First of all, because people understand that service is something they're willing to pay for. Now, given that there was COVID and then a war, a lot of people also had experiences which made them decide that this was not a good experience when I did it myself. I want to have someone else take care of it because I don't want to have the same experience again because it was a bad experience. So there were a lot of opportunities where customers understood the importance of having a good agent, and as a result, the agency market is only going up and up since I joined till now, and I hope and I think it's going to continue to be that way.
So this is my second career. My first career was in finance, and I was successful until I wasn't. But it was. Did I say would I say I love what I do? Probably not. But I enjoyed the income that it came with. But in travel, when I was looking for another career, I made a conscious decision to do something that I absolutely love, so that I don't feel like I'm working. So I did find that in travel. I always felt that I was working so that I could travel. So now I'm working in travel, and all the things that I do, I'm doing out of enjoyment because I enjoyed doing it even before I was doing this. So I absolutely love what I do. It allows me to work harder. It allows me to share my experiences with my clients. It allows me to give my clients the experiences that I experience, that I enjoy. And, there's really something that I really enjoyed and the best decision I made to go into this industry.
Do you actually visit most of the destinations that you recommend?
I do quite a bit, yeah. I do travel quite a bit. I truly believe that experiencing a destination and seeing all the hotels in that destination gives me an opportunity to explain intricate details of the client's trip that they might not have anticipated before. So when I go to the destination, I can understand how long it takes to get from an airport to a hotel, why this hotel is different than this hotel. So it's very important when I travel and I experience, and I always, whenever I'm traveling, a three-day trip ends up becoming a 2-week trip because like, oh, I'm in this area, so I might as well just go there. Then I'll just go here again, and then before I know it, I'm traveling for about 2 weeks. So it's a blessing that we get to do that. And people ask me, oh, you're traveling this week? Is it business or pleasure? I say both. Yeah.
Akiva.
Remind me the question.
Do you love what you do?
Do you love what you do? Do you love it? Are you as passionate as Joey?
I mean, there's a lot of different pieces to being a travel agent. So yeah, I definitely love most of the pieces. There's obviously stressful moments. It's obviously
Aside
not,
from the 3 a.m. phone call. Okay,
exactly.
Okay.
Or when the guy's in a bad mood, rightfully so, you know. But yeah, I mean, I love to be there for people. I love to be relied on and come through for people. I love to create experiences for people, get people a good deal. It's very personal business. You know, I'm in it because I love it. I know I could have done many other things.
Great. Okay. So last softball question is, if you had 5 days to get away with your family or with your wife, where would you go? Where's the best kosher travel experience, in your opinion? Aside from Israel, of course. We'll leave that out for now. That's a given.
So I would actually look for a place without Wi-Fi. That would be number one. And then I don't like to invest much in my vacations by taking along food. So yeah, having good food available, especially in restaurants, that would be by me a number one. Personally, that's why I keep on going to Miami, although I want to explore more because it's available in a very large scale.
For me, without a doubt, Safari.
Safari.
It's amazing that in South Africa, so many of the luxury safaris have a kosher option available. I was with my family in Africa at safari in the middle of the bush. We were there for Shabbat, and we had kosher wines. We had chicken and potatoes. My wife told him how to cook it because it has to be the Syrian way. But we had lamb chops. We had an amazing Shabbat dinner, and the head of food and beverage knew so much about kosher that it was just such a comfortable feeling. In the middle of the bush, in the middle of nowhere, we were having a beautiful Shabbat dinner with my family. So to me, safari is also a very spiritual thing because you see God, you see Hashem in everything that's around you, and then be able to do that with your family and have a Shabbat dinner and have kosher food, nothing better than that.
I agree with Joey. I mean, the safari is the best. I mean, it's where you're going to create the most experiences. It's beautiful. It's kosher friendly. It's easy. It's kosher. It's the best.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much to the audience. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to Jetcon, and we will see you next year.